God, most merciful, most compassionate, good afternoon. The Ministers' Council conducted a session today chaired by His Excellency Dr. Omar Al-Razzaz, where we discussed a number of measures and procedures and decisions related to the continuity of work, the reopening of the industries, and modifying several measures and procedures that were suspended because of the repercussions of COVID-19 and because of the shutdown of the institutions in the private and public sectors. In the light of that, His Excellency, the Prime Minister, issued Defense Order number 10 of 2020, which includes: number 1, extending the period for the submission of income tax returns and the period for the payment of the collected withheld tax to the income and sales tax department until June the 30th, 2020. Number 2, extending the period for the submission of chartered accountants of the lists with the names of their customers and their contact information to the Income and Sales Tax Department until June the 30th, 2020. We shall publish the provisions of Defense Order number 10 through the different media outlets and through the official media platforms of the Prime Ministry. And we have with us today His Excellency, the Minister of Finance, Dr. Mohammed Al-Asas, who's going to talk to us about some details related to Defense Order number 10 and to a set of economic decisions and trends related to dealing with the repercussions of COVID-19. And also, other decisions have been taken today in relation to allowing new industries to reopen. And we have the Minister of Industry and Trade, Dr. Tariq Al-Hamouri, who's going to tell us more about this. In the light of the gradual reopening of the different industries, we would like to urge citizens to comply with the precautionary and preventive measures and not to put their health and safety at risk. The pandemic threat is still there, and we are still in the battle of fighting it. And we always count on the sense of responsibility among citizens. And to that end, we have Defense Order number 11 issued by His Excellency, the Prime Minister, Defense Order number 11 of 2020, which aims at obligating owners of enterprises allowed to operate to exercise utmost levels of vigilance and comply with preventive and precautionary measures and eliminate practices that might cause the infection to spread among people. The defense order imposes punishment against all enterprises whose workers or visitors do not wear masks or gloves, and enterprises who allow practices that could put the health and safety of citizens at risks to happen. The defense order reads as follows. Number 1, all persons shall keep the set physical distances and wear masks and gloves before they enter into public spaces and places, including ministries, public departments, official institutions and public institutions, and before they enter into places where there is direct service delivered to the public, including companies, enterprises, or shopping stores, shopping malls, commercial stores, clinics, and medical centers. Number 2, medical service providers and service providers at the entities mentioned in paragraph 1 of this item and their staff members, along with the workers in home delivery services, all shall wear masks and gloves, and they may not allow visitors to come into these places without wearing masks and gloves. Number 2, A, Anyone who violates the provisions of paragraph 1 of this item shall be punished with, number 1, a fine that is no less than 20 JDs and no more than 50 JDs. Number 2, anyone who violates the provisions of paragraph 2 of item 1 shall be punished with a fine that is not less than 100 JDs and not more than 200 JDs, and the enterprise where the violation took place shall be suspended for 14 days. Number 3, the implementation of the punishments set forth in this item shall not preclude the implementation of a more severe punishment that is stipulated in any other piece of legislation. Number 3, none of the violations mentioned in item 1 shall be prosecuted if the fines of the minimum level of the fine is paid in a week after the date of the violation. Number 4, the Minister of Health shall be authorized to set the date on which the defense order herein enters into force, and he issues the instructions for the implementation of the same. May God protect you, protect your health and that of your loved ones. May God bless this country, its leadership, and may God protect the whole humanity from this pandemic. We're at your service and we succeed if you comply. Thank you very much. In the name of God, most merciful, most compassionate, dear citizens, good afternoon. Now, after consultation with His Excellency, the Minister of Health, and the different committees in the government, and as we have agreed with you earlier, and as we mentioned that our procedures and decisions are going to be promptly reviewed as the pandemic situation evolves, and we decided that as of Wednesday, May the 6th, 2020, all industries are to reopen. Industries that were not allowed to operate fully before are now allowed to operate fully, provided that the labor force in the mentioned enterprises is not less than 75%. And we also, however, the said decision does not include the following: schools, kindergartens, nurseries, universities, colleges, institutes, training and cultural centers, food courts at restaurants and cafes, which only deliver their services through pick-up or through home delivery, swimming pools, gyms, spas, churches and mosques, ballrooms, parks, entertainment cities and play areas, cinemas, and venues of exhibitions, festivals, and conferences. Also, all public transportation is allowed to operate fully within the same governorate, though, at a passenger capacity of 50% and as per the mechanisms and details set forth by the Minister of Transportation. As for the use of private vehicle, citizens using their own private vehicles and cars, we decided to repeal the implementation of odd-even scheme as of Sunday, May the 10th of 2020. And citizens are allowed to use their own private vehicles or to walk on foot within the same governorate, and that would be until 6 p.m. As for the restaurants and the pastry shops, and we decided as of May the 6th to allow restaurants and pastry shops to work until 6 p.m., of course using home delivery or takeout services, and the restaurants' home delivery services may continue until 8 p.m. This, however, without obligating them to conduct the COVID-19 test for all of their staff members. However, they have only to conduct random COVID-19 testing for the workers, and that would be as per the details defined by Her Excellency, the Minister of Tourism. We also allow bakeries to sell sweets and desserts as of May the 6th, provided that these desserts and sweets prepared in advance and packaged in advance. Everybody is required to observe precautionary measures fully, and our inspection tours shall continue. Inspection tours of the different inspection teams formed by the different ministries and departments. We shall continue our inspection visits in order to ensure the compliance with the precautionary and preventive measures. In fact, over the period between April 26th and May the 2nd, we were able to inspect more than 12,000 enterprises in the private sector through multi-ministerial teams, and indeed we have suspended 615 violating enterprises. Now, as for the defense orders issued related to wearing masks and gloves, we'd like to inform you that there are available masks at the civil consumers shopping stores and the military consumers shopping stores. More than 4 million masks made available today to both shopping stores, and they shall be sold at prices available and affordable to everybody. As we mentioned earlier, all of the measures and decisions mentioned are subject to review as the pandemic situation evolve, and we may increase or decrease them. And in case the pandemic situation gets worse, God forbids, we shall reduce some of the opening that we have introduced. May God protect this country, its great people, and its wise leader. Thank you very much. The Minister of Finance. In the name of God, most merciful, most compassionate, to start with, I would like to congratulate the Jordanian people on the occasion of Ramadan. I wish you happy Ramadan and kul aam wa antum bikhair. In reference to Defense Order number 10, which is issued now in order to facilitate things for citizens and for enterprises through extending the period for the submission of income tax returns, I have to use this opportunity to thank enterprises and citizens who, despite of the lockdown, submitted their tax returns. And despite of the difficult situation, indeed, the COVID-19 pandemic is an international crisis that hit the whole world. The thing that concerns all governments of the world now is the negative repercussions of this pandemic on the private sector, on the labor force, and on households, in addition to its direct impact on the revenues and spending, and eventually deficit. This virus, in fact, is the biggest economic threat the world has witnessed since the Great Depression in 1929. And just like the impact of COVID-19, COVID-19 impacts and hits worse people who have pre-existing vulnerabilities, it also hits economies and enterprises worse if they suffer from pre-existing vulnerabilities. His Excellency ordered that we adopt a transparent approach as we speak about the health aspect of the pandemic. This also applies to talking about the economic aspect of the pandemic. Indeed, as the health aspect of the pandemic is not clear to the world, we can also say that no country in the world can define the impact of this unprecedented pandemic on economies. However, in line with our approach of transparency, we would like to share our forecasts and reading for the coming for the coming period, and how we think COVID-19 is going to impact our national economy. And here I would like to be clear, make no mistake. Our transparency shall not be interpreted in a manner that disrupts trust in our national economy. We've always said our economy is in a good shape and shall continue to be so. Transparency does not mean that we do not have solutions for the challenges facing us. In fact, it means that we believe in having an open dialogue about the repercussions of this pandemic, and it means that we are willing to overcome it through open dialogue, through exchanging opinions with private sector and with all stakeholders in the community. We have started a medical war against this pandemic months earlier, and the first stage of that was a comprehensive lockdown that suspended all economic activities fully. These measures were painful to the economy, however, they were very important to fight COVID-19. And we hope that these efforts will pay off. The health achievements, significant health achievements we've made so far, thanks to the sacrifices we made through the comprehensive lockdown, can be overcome now and can be balanced now. Now is the time that we can strike the balance between the economy and health. Now we started our fight in the economic sector against this pandemic. The economic shock the Jordanian economy received and the government revenues received, the GDP received, has been a deep shock, a very deep shock. The local revenues dropped till the end of April 2020, dropped by 602 million JDs compared to the same period of 2019. In addition to that, and despite that we had expected a growth in the GDP of 2020 by 2.1%, now we expect a crunch in the GDP at the value of 3.4%. The change is 5.5%. This crisis, in fact, and the fact that all countries in the world are busy dealing with it, has exacerbated the problem because the sources of financing in the world have dried up. And the drop in consumption has exhausted liquidity available to the private sector throughout the world. Therefore, the next stage should be striking the balance between public safety and resilience in the economy. We should also be ready to deal with a subsequent wave of this pandemic, God forbid. The stage that we have just started, and it is about opening some industries gradually, and I think that everybody has been happy as we saw the economy reopening gradually, and we hope that it will reopen fully. And therefore, when the next stage starts, we're going to have two goals. The first is to maintain the financial stability in our country. The second is to try, to the extent possible, create an environment that helps citizens and private enterprises to maintain their financial stability and that of their enterprises and that of their household. We understand that understanding the impact of this pandemic on the whole world, we understand also how it impacts the enterprises and individuals. And although it impacts revenues, we still have our spendings on social safety networks, on health, and all other main spendings, of course, in addition to the expenditures of salaries and internal and external debt services. For example, one of the tools that we have recently used over the past weeks, next week and till the rest of the month, is to pump liquidity to the private sectors by way of paying their tax reimbursements, and to the enterprises and to households. We pay them the tax reimbursement, And during by April and May, we will have paid 150 millions in addition to the 350 millions that have been paid for tax reimbursements and arrears paid to enterprises. Therefore, we expect that our spending will continue as planned, rather it's going to increase, while our revenues are going to be shocked significantly. And therefore, this will all lead to increased deficit. We also understand now we are in a pandemic. We are in a struggle to maintain and to preserve the economy. This means that we need to use the tools needed to protect citizens and to protect economy. We have these tools, we can use these tools, and we will use these tools until we take the economy and the country to the shores of safety. And therefore, the defense order today in relation to deferring tax payment is reflective of our policy to restore and to reopen industries gradually through while we deliver facilities to citizens and to enterprises until we create a new normal situation that we create together. And we will introduce strict measures, and they might be deep financial measures that will enable us to start the third stage, which is recovery, the thing that will prove to the international community the resilience of our national economy and how it can overcome crises the way it did over the past many years. And this shall promote the investors' trust in Jordan, in the ability of Jordan to deal and absorb shocks. This eventually will promote and ultimately promote investment and trust in the national economy. I would like also to stress that we are capable and we are committed to paying the salaries of the public sectors, and we are committed to paying the service of internal and external debts. Thank God. We're not afraid of this. And in the end, given the challenge, we had to take difficult, hard decisions, and we understand that this is the case for every household. And despite the fact that this is an unprecedented battle and this is a harsh, a vicious adversary we're dealing with, we are capable of using our tools to preserve the health of the country, citizens, and economy. Our country, our economy is in a good shape and shall continue to be in a good shape under the leadership of His Majesty the King. Peace be upon you. Good afternoon. There have been no cases of COVID-19 in the kingdom today. There was a case of an Arab lorry driver coming from Jabir border post. He was not allowed in. This makes the total number of COVID-19 cases 461. No cases of recovery today, and thank God, no deaths. The number of patients under treatment is 64, and the total number of testings conducted till the date is 84,593 tests conducted since the beginning of the pandemic. And as you know, 4 million masks are made available at the civil and military consumers shopping stores, and factories are going to start to produce hundreds of thousands of masks to the market in order to meet the needs of citizens. As you heard earlier from His Excellency, the Minister of Finance, and from His Excellency, the Minister of Industry and Trade, our economy has started to recover. It is a pleasure for every one of us to go to the market and see that economy and activity has restored. We are back to work stronger with a healthy country. And we look around us in the world to see that some are still suffering and still struggling. Now it is our responsibility to keep our health in a good shape, and also to restore our economy. If we are careless, the pandemic is going to come back. Therefore, committing to precautionary measures, wearing masks, physical distancing, washing hands is the thing that will maintain our health, that of our children and that of our parents who are more vulnerable to this pandemic. And it also helps keep the strength of our economy, which is the source of our living. Many people have sacrificed. In fact, all of us have sacrificed if we do not comply with all of this hand in hand in facing this pandemic. And I'm sure that all of us have gone through hard times, but now is the time for us to see the efforts pay off. That now that we are healthy, coming back to build our economy and get it strong again. May God protect this country and its leadership, and peace be upon you.